I keep messing up the last quarter. But again, I'm still learning the track. This is very new to me. Freaking Yo guys, welcome back to a new video. This is Lemans Ultimate. It just recently came out, and yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of things, and then there was this one Hotlap that someone did who works at Lemans Ultimate, I believe, who was on a Gamepad, and that kind of made me want to try it out. So initial impressions, obviously I already tested this game. My initial impression was pretty bad, because yeah, there was so many things wrong. Optimization, the FPS was bad, and there was some sort of assist that kept ruining my experience. Even though like you would turn all the assists off, there's still one that would be lurking around, and that kind of ruined the experience for me. But then I kind of looked into it. I talked with the staff and stuff, which are really cool people, and they showed me that you could actually change more stuff in the config files and not just in the menu. So with that, I've changed a lot, spent hours and hours, and I finally came to like the sweet spot for just all of my settings. And it's kind of similar to my experience in R-Factor 2. Took a long time to figure my setup up. Now I'm assuming you've already seen the lap. You've seen how my controller is. I think the first thing you guys may have noticed is how the steering feels more accurate to like my inputs and stuff, and how there lacks any like assist and stuff, and that is because, you know, of the config stuff that I did, of the modifications that I did in the config files. And yeah, so controls, I mean, pretty generic. I only have shift up and down for A and X. It's just how I had it in assetto courses, so I just kind of transferred that here. Headlight post, right shoulder. I have more binded to my keyboard, so, and because I'm pretty close to it, I don't have to really set it on my gamepad. I free some space, so yeah, that's that. And then we have assists, none. Camera stuff, nothing too interesting here. And then we have the calibrate stuff. I'm just kind of playing around with the settings. They're not final, but like this is a good spot. This is where I'm at right now. And I have like head physics and stuff, all that stuff. I turned that down. Force feedback 50%. I feel like I had it at 20%, but I don't know why. For some reason, I don't know, maybe it's a problem with Lemans Ultimate, and that is, so at some point like the vibration, the force feedback just kind of, it's less intense. It's less, you feel it a lot less, and because of that, I just kind of increased it to like 50, and it's pretty good now. So overall, like what I think about Lemans, I think it's it had a rough start, you know, with just all the bugs it had, but you know, with these quick hot fixes and patches they did, it kind of improved the experience for a lot of people, which kind of made me keep the game, because I was planning to refund it. But yeah, but the staff have been really like quick at like answering people's like doubts and stuff like that. And so go to my profile. I've had a couple of races. I've obviously, this is not my first impression, obviously I had a couple of races, and the first race I actually won is actually the Lemans. So that was yesterday. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this video, but it was on Sunday. I finished first in the LMP2 class. But yeah, at the start I really had like a really good stint and really good fights, and then towards the end, that's where people just kind of, they couldn't handle it. But yeah, the 2.4 was pretty fun, and I hope that there are going to be more like that. This was another one that I've had, and that I just wasn't prepared for it. And I crashed during the night because I didn't practice night at Lemans, so it was really bad. I couldn't pick my references and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the stats, that's the stuff like that. That's just kind of cool. Online, it's pretty cool. I like the UI, looks cool, but obviously the only issue is how slow the UI is. It takes a little bit of time to load, as well as when you load into a server, that takes a lot of time as well. But other than that, the experience overall kind of makes up for these bugs and these issues that we have. Steam folder, Steam apps, common, don't know why I did that. And yeah, Lemans Ultimate, then you go to user data, player, and then here Gamepad. I'm obviously going to share it, the description. But just to give you guys a good understanding of what I did, because it's not gonna be the same for everyone. I'm sure you're gonna, depending on your controller, you're gonna have to make some tweaks to it. But yeah, so the most important part, I think it's this one, the options here, and so essentially here, so sensitivity type, I don't know the difference. I think the sensitivity type 1 actually has that issue with the assist, right? The assist problem, whereas 2, I think it removes it. And so I kind of took this gamepad config from somebody else, and then I made my own fixes to it. I pretty much changed everything. And yeah, so I have this as sensitivity type 2. So if you're having this issue with this assist that you don't like, and that's kind of, it's not making you consistent and stuff like that, it's not helping you really like drive and get around corners and stuff like that, you get to sensitivity type 2. You just type 2 here. Steering aggression will only help if you have a value below 1 as steering rate factor, but if you have the value of 1, steering aggression is of no effect. So you might as well just put it at 0. So essentially, what is steering factor? So steering rate factor is just how, I guess, accurate the inputs are to your gamepad, to your joystick and stuff like that. And if you have a value below that, it's gonna feel a lot slower, but it's still okay. But with me, obviously, I want my steering inputs to be accurate, because sometimes when I make like quick corrections and stuff, it might not reciprocate the same idea I wanted to perform. The game doesn't do exactly what I want it to do at a specific corner, maybe when overcorrecting and stuff like that. So especially when you're looking for that lap time, you're looking for like those little tenths, it's always good to have a very accurate input. So that's why I have it at 1. I once had it at 99. I think you can try that first. Try it 0.9, and then I don't think there's a difference. I don't know if I've noticed it, but there's actually a huge difference between 99 and 1. But I have it at 1. But if you have it below 99, you can actually work with the steering aggression, and the higher the value for steering aggression, the more aggressive the car is gonna feel. Exactly. So if you turn, the car is gonna want to aggressively turn more. So the higher, the more aggressive. So if it's more aggressive, it's gonna induce oversteer, in my opinion, based on my experience. So, but if you have it at 1, that steering aggression is not gonna do anything. But if you have, I have not tried steering aggression on 0 plus 0.99. You guys can play around with it. That's that. So then we have steering return rate multiplier. This is how quick the steering wheel turns back to its normal position, and that helps for when you, for example, want to correct, right? So the return rate multiplier as well as the snap factor, they go hand in hand. Let's say you enter and the exit, you have a lot of like oversteer on corner exit. Ideally, you would want to have a high return rate multiplier in order to be able to counter the oversteer, but not too much. And that would make you turn too much, and the oversteer is going to turn into an extra layer of oversteer, which is going to make you lose the car. You would want this between, I think default is 1.85. You would want it at that if you're gonna have like the rate factor at 0.99, but if you have the rate factor at 1, it's not gonna be of effect. So yeah, so this is gonna be useless, as well as this is gonna be useless when you have the rate factor at 1. And in the snap factor, exactly, it's the snap factor, is how much the car it's gonna snap from left to right. So essentially it's similar to the return rate, but return rate is only from left to the center or from right to the center, right? It's not from left to right. Well, the snap factor is how fast your steering wheel is going to snap from left to the right. So the higher the easier it's going to snap, or the faster it's going to snap. Would want this at a high value too, not too high. Ideally you would want this between 0.3, but you can play around with it. That's how I have it. And steering sensitivity, so the higher the steering sensitivity, the more the effect the car has on your input. So let's say you have a very low sensitivity. When you turn, you snap or whatever, depending on how sensitive it is. So if you turn to the left, say 50 degrees, the car may take, let's say if you have your steering sensitivity at 0.8 for example, which is a high value, and you turn 30 degrees, the car might turn 180, right? But if you have your sensitivity at 0.15, when you turn, the car might just, when you turn maybe like 30 degrees, the car might just turn 50 degrees, right? So just kind of play with that as well. But you would want this at a very low value, because I once had it very high, and it was, I would always get too much oversteer into a corner. The speed sensitivity, what that does, it controls the steering wheel on a straight line, or like whilst you're at high speeds. A higher speed sensitivity will induce more resistance, so it will cause the car to be more resistant to turn. So if I had this at 99 at once, and I could not do the Rouge at Spa. It would, I was only able to like turn, even though my joystick was turning like 180, the steering wheel was only doing like 20 degrees. So you would, but then I dropped it down to 87 to 80 to 70, and that's when I noticed a huge difference. And so I just kind of found the balance, and so 80 is the good spot. You can kind of play around with it. So if you have it any higher than 90, I mean, I haven't tried anything within the 90s. The only time I had it in the 90s was when I had it at 99, and that was very resistant, and it was very bad. I could not turn it at any corner. And then steering wheel maximum rotation, I just kept it default. This does nothing. Throttle sensitivity helps you control how easy you want to get on the throttle. So for example, if you want the throttle, your throttle inputs to be more hard, if you want to take more time to get to like maybe like 50% throttle, I think you would want this at a higher value. I left it the way it was with the guy's config. I didn't change it. I didn't feel like changing it. So 22 was just right for me, and if I need more, I might add more if I don't know. But that's it for me. I don't know what these things do, but I just kept it the way it was because I never felt the need to change it. But I think this will also help you like get a better feel for the car, and so yeah, so far I've had a great experience, I mean, with my force feedback, so I don't feel the need to change it.